right, babies, we're gonna jump right into this video. Y'all can see I already have my hair in cornrows. If you guys can see from the title, I am actually gonna be showing you how to do a no leave out U-part or V-part install. You can really do this with any texture. If you guys had a chance to check out my previous video, you saw that I actually did this with curly hair. So today I'm gonna actually be using kinky straight hair, just because on Instagram and TikTok I got so many questions on how in the world did I do this, and is it possible to do this with straight hair. So I wanted this to be as detailed as possible. All that I'm going to do is start off with cornrows. These do not need to be brand spanking new. I actually recommend you probably letting this sit and not be super fresh, just so that you're able to push that crochet needle underneath the braid. Now I want you guys to kind of see the method that I'm using to go underneath the braid. If you guys need a crochet needle, I do have one linked on my Amazon store, which is down in my description box below. So when it comes to your cornrows, you definitely want to make sure that they are nice, neat, small. Like I said, you don't want them to be overly tight, because you do want to have some wiggle space to be able to maneuver the crochet needle. So in order to actually use the crochet needle, let me show you what that technique looks like. I'm going to get a little closer so you guys can see. I'm not going to talk through it just because I'm more of a visual learner, but you guys will see I'm literally just going to be sliding it underneath. The crochet needle will naturally open, and of course, to pull it back out, I would just drag it back out the opposite direction, and we should be good to go. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the unit that we're gonna be using. Now, obviously you can do this with a V part or a U part, even those like I parts, which are just like single, which I don't even know why they call it that, because it's still technically a U part, just much smaller. But anyway, the technique is just as simple as throwing the wig on and placing it on either side of your cornrows. So you don't want them to be directly on top of your cornrows, unless your wig cap actually has holes throughout it, which is going to allow you to loop the hair through. Most of the V parts and U parts are not going to be customized in that way or have those breathable caps. So let me show you how to get it done. All right, so first things first, you want to make sure that you just have your wig on. I already have my cornrows tucked up and under, so you don't really have to worry about literally anything from this point outside of just putting the wig on. You don't need leave out on the sides. Remember, no leave out, leave out. So go ahead and just pop the wig on. I already have some of the combs open. I can feel it. Now there's gonna be a middle comb here typically. If there isn't, it's okay, not a big deal. You don't even need it, but in the event that you have it, go ahead and clip it so that you feel extra secure. And then of course you are going to take one side of the cap, clip it into place. Now, something that I learned the last time is that you really want to make sure that you get that clip as close to the anchor braid as possible. So I have it clipped here where I can clearly still see my part. I want to try to get it even closer, which means I'm essentially going to kind of put it on that base of the actual anchor braid, which is okay. And I got a ton of questions of how to remove this. I'm going to show you that at the very end, so definitely make sure to stick around. I'm considering doing like a part 2 for the removal of it. Same thing on this side. I'm not even snapping the combs or like placing the combs on the side in yet. I'm just really focusing on here. So again, you make sure that you get it as close as possible. So if for any reason the combs make you feel uncomfortable, once we actually have the hair looped around, you can literally pop open the comb, slide it from underneath the area that you have it, clip it back down just so it's flat, and it's going to be anchored. The wig will not move anywhere at all. You won't have to worry about it. But for now, we are all good. We have everything laid down flat. We have our U part. This wig just fits really, really snug, so I do like that. All right, so we have the hair. I have not styled this up at all. I'm actually going to do that at the end just so that we can focus on, you know, crocheting this into space. So I'm not going to slide these combs in at all just because I don't really need them. Or actually, I can slide them in. Now, of course, we're going to get into the crochet part. Now, what I like to do is double loop the very first strand. Now, when it comes to removing this, you don't have to go one by one, trying to find the loop, pulling it out. Y'all, literally, you're going to flip this cap up. I'm going to show y'all. Don't worry about it. Let's focus on one thing at a time, okay? So I'm gonna actually begin the first loop. Let me try to get a little closer for you. Now, in some cases, you guys will actually notice that like the very tip of the U part doesn't necessarily lay flat. Doesn't even matter because we're about to cover it, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna go ahead and take the first strand here. So of course, for that first strand, I'm gonna literally go ahead, snap that crochet needle up underneath. I'm gonna pull, loop it around, so that hair is now looped. If you have trouble with it, what I've learned to do is to create a loop, just like that. Close the needle, pull it back through, just like that. Now, because I'm like, that's just not gonna be tight enough. How is that gonna work? Like, no. So what I decided that I wanted to do is double loop it. So I'm gonna go back through a little bit closer to the front, slide the needle through. It's gonna open up. I'm gonna create my loop. I'm gonna loop it around the needle, close it, and we have a double loop. So it sits a little bit flatter than it was before. Now, as we start to build this upon itself, this gap will actually be filled in. So let's just keep going. And because we're doing this with straighter hair, you kind of want to make sure that you're doing this in more detailed sections. But you guys can already see the illusion. And you guys can see as I slowly start to move my way backward, this gap is slowly getting filled. So I know it may not look like much now, but trust the process, because that's what I'm doing, okay, sis? And you can try your best to keep it neat, but if it gets a little messy, don't worry too much. Everything eventually will be covered. Now, what I'm noticing with the straight hair is because it's a little bit more silky, I almost want to double tie it just to really make sure that everything is secure. So every like fourth strand, I'm deciding to do a little double tie just to make sure it's nice and secure. But for now, this is what we have. Don't mind my rusty dusty braids. And you guys can see the volume that's being created right around this space as well. And you see just how it's like covering everything. Now I want this to lay a little flatter. So this is where I'm needing to find a solution. All right, so I decided to knot it in a group again, and I think I got it a little flatter. So, okay. So you guys can see the buildup. That part is super close because the hair is really thick, so it definitely helps. Y'all, I'm kind of liking it. I mean, I haven't finished, but I am kind of liking what it's looking like. So let me just keep going. And when you're feeling like you're running out of hair, go to the next row of hair. Like I originally started on this row, but now I'm on the second row. Now, when you get to the top, more so around either that V or that U part area, you still want to continue the same thing going around. It is going to be a little bit more difficult just because you can't see as clearly, and because this is not curly hair, which usually makes it a little bit easier to kind of disguise it. You are going to want to make sure that you really take your time. So if you need some help, hey, don't be afraid to ask somebody. But I'm just going to take my time and go around to continue to cover the braid. All right, so now that we have this side done, I'm gonna go ahead and just start doing the same thing on this side. And you guys know, in true crochet fashion, there's always gonna be some type of volume at the base of that crochet. The only way to avoid that, I mean, you would have to make sure that this is like super tight and laid down. And maybe I just need a little bit more practice as it relates to that. But so far, this is what we have. You guys can see it's not perfectly straight, which means I did not crochet this in a perfect manner at all. So I can definitely see where the curly hair gave me a lot more leeway to kind of like be imperfect. But if you're going to be doing this with straighter hair, y'all, this ain't no joke. Now, I can actually work with both hands, left or right hand. It doesn't really matter. But if you aren't like that and you are still right-handed, then of course, you're going to want to like just bring the needle up underneath in this way. I guess that's still using that hand. I feel like you should be able to at least hold it with your left hand, right? And then that way you can just loop the hair around once, pull it, find another area to loop it again. Create the loop that time. Pull it. All right, there we go. So we got it pulled through, and then y'all know this is gonna create that like face frame up in here, which I've seen this this look on so many other like women before, and I knew it was crochet hair. So just have that in mind. Like, people are gonna know, like, okay, she crocheted her hair. I actually surprisingly got this side a little bit flatter. So I'm assuming the way that I was crocheting on this side is a little bit different. But again, this is my second time doing this. So I could see how practice would definitely make perfect. And every now and then you'll get a little snag, but all you gotta do is just hold the hair and kind of pull out any areas that just simply did not go into that crochet. So I got a little bit more to cover back here. You guys can see the volume here. The only thing I could think of to eliminate that would literally be, I mean, you would have to pull this even tighter. I'm not really finding a solution to getting that to lay a little bit flatter than what it is. So I just have like a little bit more to cover towards the top area, right up in here. And we should pretty much be all set, but you guys can see this is what the illusion part is looking like. My hair is extremely dirty. Y'all, I said do this on old braids, but not 2-week-old braids, okay? I can't. Okay, so we are pretty much done. You guys can see I managed to get the top a little bit flatter than what it was by double looping a few of the strands. So if you want to, you can group a few hairs together and then go ahead and just double loop them. I noticed that it allowed for the hair to be pulled a little bit tighter to lay a lot flatter. So pro tip, okay, I'm not yet a pro. Y'all know this is only my second time doing this, but I really wanted to get the video out for the women that definitely ask, like, Chrissy, can I do this with straight hair? What is it gonna look like? Y'all, allow me to be your model, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much style up the hair. You guys can see there's still some volume here, just simply because it is crochet. You have to know that when it comes to crochet hair, you are going to have a lot more volume anywhere that you have a braid, just simply because it's not flush to your scalp. So it kind of is what it is. I tried my all good. So if you are somebody that really just needs, like, Chrissy, I don't have enough hair for the leave out, I do see how this could be beneficial for you. I can also see if you are somebody that wants to give your hair a break, even better. And if you are like me and you typically have on a hat but you don't want to wear a lace wig, y'all, this is even better. The only reason I'm saying a hat is because me personally, I don't feel as comfortable with the part. I want it to be a little bit closer together, so I have to really figure that out. Now, y'all know I absolutely love kinky straight hair just because it looks more natural to me, right? My natural hair texture is definitely more on the kinky side. So when it comes to wearing weaves and wigs, I just prefer something that's gonna look a little bit more on the natural side. Don't get me wrong, it's still a wig. A wig is still a wig, okay? But if I can just feel a little bit more at home why not? So let me go ahead and just throw some curls up in this thing. And when I do that double loop, any areas that I've had like trouble with like the hair kind of lifting up a little too much, it's instantly fixed. So I know, like I said, this is going to be trial and error for you as it is for me. But if you guys do have any questions and you guys are really struggling, I will do my best to answer them down in the comment section below, because I know it's new for you and me, and we are doing this together, okay? But so far, so good. I mean, it actually looks nice. I'm honestly surprised. I wasn't sure what really to expect. I knew that I was going to have some trouble with really kind of like getting this part to lay as flat as possible. Like, I want this to be like sleek, but it wouldn't make sense because it's crochet, you know? I even noticed that on the curly hair. So anyway, and one thing that I love about Kinky Straight hair, it curls with no problem, and the curls really, really last. So you guys can see, I'm just doing that with the flat iron, and boom, really easy curls. And the hair is super soft. I don't really smell anything. Of course, you're naturally going to smell like hair, especially when you're going to be straightening or curling it just like you would with your natural hair. And y'all can see just how easy that is, just to curl it right on up. I didn't even have to do like multiple passes or anything like that. Nadula definitely is one of my favorite companies when it comes to like V-parts or U-part units, just because the caps fit really, really snug. That's one thing that I did notice. And they're also adjustable, because sometimes you'll get those V-parts and it's like, dang, Chrissy, why is this so big? Like, why is there so much space in the cap? So like with this one, if you did want to have leave out on the sides, you definitely could without having too much trouble. And look at how like shiny the hair is instantly. Let me like push back a little bit so y'all can see. Look at the shine. Mind you, I have not added anything to this hair. Literally nothing. And y'all know, typically I am a stickler for packaging. Now, when I first got this box, y'all can see, it did come with like a satin bag. And then, of course, with the box, the satin bag is more convenient for me just because I can store it a little bit easier than having to worry about a box. But the box got a little bit beat up in transit, which is not really a big deal. Obviously, if the hair is coming the way we need it to come, the quality is there, the price is there, I'm not having to make too many adjustments to it, you know, I'm pretty much going to be happy. So I won't complain too much about it, but y'all know, I'm usually a stickler for packaging. Nadula gets a pass just because their hair usually does what it says it's going to do. It lasts. I still have a lot of my units from them, just from over the years, which is the whole purpose in like making investments. Like, wigs are not something that you get and then you're having to like repurchase every 2 months. Like, unless you're just going for a different style, I get it, but for the most part, they should last. You shouldn't have to be worrying about too much. And then, of course, y'all know, typically they are going to give you like some goodies. You might get some lashes, a wig band, also like a wig cap, which I don't usually need the wig cap, especially if it's like a V part or U part. I have so many wig caps already. I mean, you can never really have too many, so I appreciate them. And yeah, of course, you're also going to get the wig, and you guys can see how it came like originally. Super soft, bouncy, doing what it needed to do. And here we are at the point of just throwing these little curls up in here, which is really my favorite part, because y'all know I love some kinky straight curls. They just already have so much body and it looks so full. I love that. I low-key would even put like a clip in right here just to make it even more rounded out, to supplement the hair that like you took from that little section. I really would, because I feel like if you're gonna go voluminous, you might as well go all the way. And after all that manipulation, surprisingly, I'm not getting like a ton of shedding. Nothing that's like unusual. Obviously, when you brush your hair, just like you would brush your natural hair, a few strands are gonna come out. if it's not anything that I feel like it's like, oh my God, like, girl, this hair is shedding. And thankfully, the hair is so incredibly full that even if it did shed a little bit, you might be a little happy about it. All right, and for this last little piece, which y'all already see it's coming together, okay? First of all, if you're cute, you really can get away with anything, because I've worn some styles that are like questionable. But as long as you look good, I'm telling you, it won't even matter. Bam. This actually looks really, really cute already. I can barely see myself in the viewfinder. I'm so far away. But now that we have everything, let me just recurl this one little spot so I can make sure it's like sitting the way I want it to. Y'all, this low-key looked just like the video I did when I had the leave out. So yes, the method did actually work. I am actually going to give this about an 8.5 just because there's some things that I would have tweaked. Like, number one, I probably would have had 3-day-old braids, not 2-week-old braids. Number two, I definitely would have been more conscious about where I was placing the crochet needle. And then three, I would also make sure that I double loop a few more of the strands of hair than just like every 4th strand. So yeah, that's pretty much the critique on the actual install. But as far as the hair goes, y'all can see super soft, bouncy, shiny. It's coming down to about my boob area, so nothing too crazy. And then let me just do a little brush out. And it's even better because it actually created a little face frame. So if you did this with a side part, even better. If you want to do the curtain bang little situation where you literally have no forehead, I don't see why you couldn't do it. Okay, not like that, but y'all see where I'm going with it. Now this reminded me of those old school weaves. Oh, like the invisible parts. Yes. The invisible parts. I cannot. Okay. Where it used to look like people had a part right here, and then of course they would just have those 2 parts. Like, oh girl, I got a side part. Like, where? All right, y'all, so this is pretty much it for the look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments or questions down below. I know y'all are like, Chrissy, we need a close-up on the part. I got you. Give me just a second. Let me show you the back and what it's looking like. I want you guys to be the judge. You tell me, what do you think? I can definitely see what needs to be perfected in this area. I know you guys are going to call that out as well, which is not a problem, of course. I want to find ways to perfect it. So if you have any suggestions, leave it down below. I love to get you guys feedback. Definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed, what are you doing? Okay, and yeah, I can see like it has so much potential. Now, if only they can just go ahead and create the wig like this, and then all we have to do is just clip it on. Now we're talking. Now we are talking. And I know they claim that we could kind of do that with like some of the V-part units that come with that little lace. No, I'm talking about give me a flip over wig in the area that's supposed to be the leave out. If you want to use it for leave out, you still can. And if you decide that you don't, boom. Literally just put the clip on the inside of this. Like, we're there. We don't even have to do the crochet. Alright, babe, so that's pretty much it for this video. Now, I know a ton of you are wondering, girl, how you gonna get that out your hair? I know, okay? I originally promised to put that at the end of this video, but just because this became a talk through, I want to go ahead and dedicate a separate video to show you how to quickly remove this, whether it's curly hair or straight. The same method should work on either styles, so definitely make sure that you are subscribed, turn on your post notifications so that you do not miss that video. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you so much. Stay pretty, and of course, I will see you next time. Bye, babies.